It's March 25th, 2026, and you know why you're here. I don't even know what year it is, but that's okay. Let's kick this off right now and introduce the players. I am Gerissar. I am stumbling over my words today.
I'm Bigmoran, and I'm a Boomkin main officially today. I've
What?
decided that.
What?
I'm kidding. I'm still a Resto main at heart, but I have not played Resto yet. I've just been playing Boomkin. Sorry, I'm contributing to the healer drought, unfortunately.
How could
But
you?
I wanted, I wanted to beam some people. I wanted to Star Surge really hard in Arena because they nerfed Resto Druid damage for some reason. Damn it! Now I need to do big Boomkin damage to teach them a lesson.
Well, so we had this conversation. This was happening in the Discord today, and it's been happening over, well, pretty much since the season started and the preseason. But healer damage, good thing, bad thing. Like, so, I think it's fun when a healer can do damage. I think it's fun when a healer can contribute to the kill beyond maybe a CC. Well, what do you think?
I think I agree. I like when healers can contribute something. I think the problem with healer damage is Blizzard has really struggled to find that sweet spot. Like you either have on one end of the spectrum a spec like Void Weaver Disc Priest or Fist Weaver Monk who just does DPS level damage the entire game. Like that,
Mhm.
probably not the best design. If it were up to me, I think healers, as you said, would be able to contribute to kills, but sort of like in waves, right? Like maybe they
Mhm.
have a damage cooldown that increases their damage every 30 seconds, but not a continuous stream of damage. I think that's where things get problematic.
Yeah, I agree. And actually, that was the conversation in the Discord too. Is that, you know, when a healer is doing equal damage to a full DPS, then that's a problem.
Yep.
Because then like, if you're a, let's say you're RMP, right? And I mean like Holy Priest or something like that, then you're now fighting against essentially three DPSers, and then that just becomes overwhelming within a matter of time, because there's only so much healing you can output to keep your team alive while you're facing three DPS that are healing themselves while damaging. So I totally get it. Okay, I want to put a little flip on this then. What about tanks?
Yeah, that's tricky. I am quite agnostic when it comes to tank. Like I don't, or is that the right word? I don't know. I just used a word. I don't even know if it's the right word. I think
Apathetic, maybe?
indifferent, I guess
Mm-hmm.
maybe towards tanks. Like I definitely get annoyed when there's a tank in the arena. Just because in my experience as a solo shuffle healer, not I haven't experienced tanks from a DPS point of view in a while, but when I used to have tanks in lobbies as a healer,
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of annoying because the games would go super long
Yeah.
and like they would go to deep dampening and it just wasn't very fun. So I don't like the tankiness part of tanks.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind tanks as much. Some people think that if you're a tank, you're like the worst human being in existence. I'm nowhere near that level.
Okay.
So yeah, I think if Blizzard made tanks less tanky or they gave some sort of tax to tanks in Arena, I think that would be good. I think at one expansion, I might be crazy, but I'm pretty sure tanks like took extra damage or something. I think that
Well,
was their solution in one of the expansions.
yeah, they took extra damage, and they took reduced healing, which I think they've actually implemented again this time, where they take less healing, and
Yeah.
to as a solution to offset the tankiness that the tanks have.
Yeah.
I almost feel like in for tanks in PvP, because they have damage mitigation, that there should be like all the background buffs that they have. There's like the increased health pools and like all the modifiers they have for to add to their tankiness and their threat generation. I think that should all be zeroized or countered in PvP, so it's not there, because it is a little not a little. It is obscene to go into any sort of PvP rated. I'll say rated because unrated is that's its own bag. But it's obscene to go into rated PvP and see a tank with like boss level health kind of thing. Like
Yeah,
that's just it's
and
just so oppressive.
yeah, and then like prop pallies, they have the
Mm-hmm.
guardian angel they can press on
Yeah.
people, and yeah, it's a mess. I don't I mean it's just such a of all the roles in WoW, I mean it's obvious that tanks are the most difficult to balance for PvP
Well, yeah.
because they're just such like an extreme outlier.
Mm-hmm.
Um
Well,
so
PvP was
yeah,
never designed around them, right?
right. And I think maybe when in the good old days when tanks used to just be flag carriers and BGs. I mean, no one
Mm-hmm.
cared then, right? Like no one
Mm-hmm.
was complaining about prot warriors in Warsong Gulch, and Cataclysm. But I think over the past few expansions, the power of tanks to do damage specifically and to not die in arena has really increased. But my
Mm-hmm.
goodness, thinking back on it, actually, so just to take a little trip through time really quick,
Sure.
tanks became popular in arena during Wrath of Lich King. So not every tank. It was basically Prot Warrior and Prot Pally.
Yep.
Prot Pallies actually did a lot of healing and
Mm-hmm.
could also do a lot of burst. Prot Warriors did a ton of damage. Like I think they had the hardest, like Shield Slam was
Yep.
I think the single hardest hitting ability when you had all the modifiers up in Wrath, and that thing hit really hard. Cataclysm, the most toxic thing, and I remember this, was blood decays in 2v2. It
Yep.
was, oh my god, I can't think of anything more miserable than fighting a blood decay in 2v2. And I think like had it
There's
not been for
so I was gonna say they're still oppressive. Like
yeah, like had it not been for those two experiences plus like guardian druids and legion like being used at BlizzCon and stuff, like I don't know. I think there could have been a role for tanks in arena, but it's just they've had such extreme variances
yeah.
in power that it's difficult to accept them in the PvP community.
So I was thinking back while you were talking about it. I thought the whole Prot Warrior Swifty macro thing was during Burning Crusade. Was that actually Wrath?
Yeah, it was Wrath
Oh my god!
because it
Wow.
was
Okay,
yeah
man.
yeah
I'm forgetting things. I'm forgetting things. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, like blood DKs are just super or were super oppressive. I'll say they're pretty weak this go around. Well, just with some of their abilities, or at least in PVE. So if they're crap in PVE, I can only imagine that they're even worse in PvP. So,
yeah. Well,
um,
yeah. It is just clear that the mechanics that tanks have are not
mhm.
designed to be used in PvP. Like, remember when Vengeance Demon Hunters were flag carriers and they would
Yep,
pick up the flag, leap 3 times, and then
yep,
trample or whatever, and they're just
yep,
immune to CC. Like,
yep.
eh, that's not fun.
No,
That's it's like,
but
how do you
but
deal
then
with that?
Blizzard fixed that by shortening how far they could leap, and when they trampled, they had a load. They were ladened, so
Ah,
you couldn't trample at all. And then you couldn't cancel the trample if I remember correctly,
ah,
there's a I think there's a macro now you could use, that you could use, but now I'm pretty sure once you hit trample, you were stuck. So you were laden and you couldn't do anything else. So it kind of sucked. Um,
yeah.
yeah, and then so now, actually speaking of which, but now like obviously evokers are the best flag carriers, which I find unfortunate because being that there's not only one class, and usually it's the preservation evoker, because they haven't done Blizzards hasn't implemented anything to counter their ability to fly around while carrying a flag. Um, it it almost feels like I believe that's still going to be a thing. This expansion is where if you have an evoker on your team and the other team doesn't, you're in a flag carry map. It's pretty much guaranteed win, right? So it'll
Yeah.
be interesting to see about that. Um, I'm I just wanted did you I just want to peel back for a second. Did you see I think it was Lika that first posted it up on Justfar but it showed that there was a prop paladin that was the top of the RSS leaderboard for week 1.
Yeah, I saw that, and I don't know how that happened to be honest, but I maybe Prop Alley is secretly OP. I have no idea. I'm
Yeah, I don't know.
surprised, like that's pretty impressive to climb that high. It's very hard to climb right now in Shuffle. Um,
Yeah, yeah. You're saying. I
I
remember
know.
we were talking about that offline there. Like they say, what's like 20, maybe 20 points a win, and then you lose
Well, let's
200 on a
just look at
loss.
the yeah. Well, let's just look at the leaderboards right now. I mean, the
Hmm.
highest player in Shuffle in North America right now is Meat Monk, who's 2200 rating.
Hmm.
In 3v3, highest player is Saul at just under 2500.
Okay.
2v2 is Naj, just under 2200.
Hmm.
Then at then in Blitz, the highest rated player is 3100 right now. So there's almost a 1000 rating difference. And what that means in Shuffle is you kind of have a giant pool of players at mixed skill levels kind of all clumped together in the same lobbies. Where, whereas Blitz, I mean, at some point you're gonna, get away from the crowd if you're
Yeah.
climbing. But in Shuffle right now, my experience so far playing Shuffle as a Boomkin main, is that every lobby just feels completely random.
Yep.
And I know that's kind of a cliche thing to say about Shuffle, but I've been playing at around 1800 to 1900 over the past 2 days. Uh, and I'll have lobbies where I'm like, oh my gosh, like I am the best player here by far. Like everyone's terrible, and no offense. But then I'll like do I'll maybe go 3-3 of that lobby for some reason, and then the next lobby will be like completely sweaty at the same rating, and it's like it's been like that every other lobby is just like completely. It's either like clown fiesta, or it's a
Mhm.
sweaty grinder of a solo shuffle. So
So
it's
I just want to dig
yeah.
into that though. Then, so for the lobbies you're in, where they're super easy, what's the MMR like? What's the MMR differences? Are you at the top of the MMR and everybody else is below you?
No, I mean everyone again, it's like there's this weird range in shuffle right now.
Hmm.
And now I would say it's like between like 1700 and 1900, where you have like an absurd that's only what 200 rating difference,
Yep.
but the skill difference between players in those ratings is absolutely insane. Like the
Yep.
variance of players, and it's just because again MMR is squished, so you're
Hmm.
gonna have like Vinruki in the same lobby as like someone who just hit 1700,
Hmm.
and who did, or who someone maybe someone did well in their placement games.
Yep.
They went 6-0. They're gonna be like 1800. Then the next lobby they're gonna be playing against rank ones.
Yeah.
That's what's happening right now. I mean, the positive consequence of this is the queues are shorter because there's more people in this like small clumped pool. But the negative consequence is like, wow, the quality of the games is like all over the place, and it feels really difficult to climb.
No. Yeah. Well, yeah, because you'll have a good game and and you win and then the next one you like go 3-3 and you barely make any points or worse yet you go 2-4 because it's like super hard competitive and you just lost the points you just gained and then some. So then you have to
Yep.
climb again. I almost
And
want I hate to, it's toxic as heck, but I almost wonder if in those kind of games if it's worthy to just do the AFK and drop the games. And because if I remember correctly, yes, you get the debuff, but you don't get the negative MMR. It doesn't hurt your MMR. Versus if you go through and you play all 6 games or all 6 lobbies, and if you're stuck in a bad matchup or something like that, and you end up getting a loss, then your MMR is going to go down, which then means you have to slog back through to get back to where you were.
yeah, I mean, I would never advocate AFK, but I mean, you're definitely like that. That is a strategy for some people to
Mhm.
maintain their MMR because yeah, it's for instance, I think I had a lobby where I went either 1 in 5 or 2 in 4, and I lost 50 points, 50
Oh,
MMR. Like that's a lot right now when everything is deflated. Like losing
yeah.
50 MMR when things are inflated, it's like who cares, you know?
Yeah. You make
But
it back
when
right
it's
away.
yeah, when it's deflated, it's like, oh shoot.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not gonna say that Blitz doesn't have its own problems. I know with Blitz, for instance, like the MMR fluctuates like crazy. Like I've seen some ridiculous screenshots of someone
Yeah.
losing a game and they lose 300 MMR. Like that just doesn't seem right, you know?
Oh,
So I don't know what's going on. My tinfoil hat conspiracy
oh, okay.
theory. I have many of these.
Yep.
Is that Blizzard? I don't know if you saw, but they made a video advertising the new PvP rewards, right? They had a little feature video that they posted on Twitter, and I think they've been more vocal about advocating for PvP compared to the past.
Yep.
I mean, they're not like screaming in the streets to Q Arena, but I think they've been pushing a PvP a little bit further, like harder.
Yep.
And I think they know that players would probably play Blitz over Shuffle. And so I
Yep.
think they want rating to be very inflated in Blitz because, there might be potentially newer players playing that mode and they
Mhm.
want them to feel good. That's my tinfoil hat conspiracy is as to why there's this crazy rating
Oh,
discrepancy right now.
I thought it was because of all the sweaty rank one world first PVE players going in to get 1600 for the extra cataclysm charge.
Well, yeah, it might, but I think in any case, like they're wanting people to get these rewards,
Yep.
whether it's that extra charge or the weapon illusion,
Yep.
um, and so they know that probably the casual PvEer who doesn't really like PvP, they're probably going to do
Mm.
Blitz and before they ever do Shuffle, let alone 2v2 or 3v3.
But I mean, because generally a player understands a BG map better, right? And there's usually some PVE aspect to it, but and then they can get carried a bit too, right? The mistakes
Yeah.
aren't as apparent.
Well,
So
what I wish, and we've talked about this in previous episodes when we talked about the training grounds,
mhm,
is, for instance, I don't play BG Blitz very often, and there's certain maps where that's not a problem. Like Warsong Gulch, I
mhm,
know exactly what my role is going to be on that map, no matter what spec I'm playing. But Arathi Basin is a very complicated map, you know, for BG Blitz. Um, 8 players, 5 nodes,
mhm.
and I remember last expansion I was playing Boomkin, and I was queuing up some BG Blitz. And before the gates even opened, I was frantically messaging my BG Blitz friends. I was like, "Where do I go as a Boomkin on this map?" Because I had no idea.
Yep.
And and they told me I got like, maybe go mines or go blacksmith. Spin
Mhm.
blacksmith
Yeah.
because boomies are very good at spinning, or try to like, overwhelm the fight at mines. I think there needs to be some way of conveying where people should go, um, in in on some of these maps. Like maybe in the starting room there needs to be like a little map you can right click and then it like gives a little tutorial. Like, okay, if
Well,
one healer should maybe
hold
go here.
hold on though, hold on, because that's so hard to do. That because it depends on your comp, it depends on the enemy team's comp, right? It depends. Do you have what healers do you have? Do you have two mobile healers, or do you have two healers that are pretty much lead feet? Right? Like who's your
Yeah.
floater team? Who's your spinner team? Who's your off team? All that stuff. Like I know what you're saying, but I feel like really the answer there is that somebody needs to actually get either everybody gets in team voice in game, and that would be cool, right? Or somebody actually sit at the keyboard and type out some instructions to take some leadership rather than everybody trying to like figure out what they're supposed to do as the gates open and start running towards ST or farm, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I know that there's a point there where, let's say around 1800 1900, where a person after 50 games kind of knows what their role is and where they need to go for a map. But before
Yeah.
that, it there needs to be communication, and I think that's the one thing that nobody wants to do, because everybody's afraid they're going to get flamed at or yelled at, or well, you can't tell me what to do, right? Or nobody wants to do the leadership. They just want to play the game, but then they get upset when they lose because there's no leadership and there's no coordination.
It'd be nice if there was though like some sort of like interface where you could kind of like click where you're gonna go.
Yeah.
Like imagine, in the before the gates open, there's a map that appears on your screen and you kind of
Mhm.
ping where you're gonna go, and that way you can
Yeah.
kind of see, like a like
A
a
heat map.
general
Yeah.
a general like looking at the war map, we're
Mhm.
gonna push this, we're I'll see you on the Eastern Front, I'll see you at
Yeah.
mines. So
All's quiet
something.
on the Western Front, I guess, right?
Yes.
Where's the
But
Western Front?
yes.
Some poor rogue sitting at a farm. Don't come to me.
Yes. Yeah, there I don't know. I mean,
Yeah, I don't either. Hey, again, like I do know though, people have to type in chat, right? Like, I do it in training grounds. I do it in regular BGs. I'll get, hey yo, I'm going to do this, and then usually some other people are like, yeah, I'm going to do that, and other people are like, no, I'm going to go GM, and then somebody's like, okay, I'll go to LM, right? And then usually if there's a DK, Path of Frost goes on, and they bolt across the water to BS. So,
yeah.
which is, I mean, great, right? But
Uh, yeah, communication is tricky though, because there are some bad agents, some
mm-hmm, sure,
bad I had a solo shuffle the other day. I always like to call the kill target when I play DPS. It's like, I'm
okay,
just I hope we're hitting the right target, right? Whether we're not, that we can be on the same page. And I was in this lobby with this rogue who was really toxic, and I called. I was like, "You want to go hunter?" And he said, "Yeah, no shit, I want to go hunter." I was like, "Okay, bro, like calm down,
yeah.
like, geez, I'm just asking, man, like." Let's be
Oh,
on the same page
and
here.
yeah, it's like, okay, we're working together. Good. Did he actually stay on the hunter?
Yes,
Oh,
I
good.
think I 5-1 that lobby. I was pumping really hard in that
Nice,
lobby.
nice. It's kind of funny that you're DPSing and I'm gonna try maining Holy Priest. That's kind of funny, actually.
Hey, it's I mean, I think it's fun to play other roles.
Yeah, it's
I,
challenging.
I, I yes, it is, and I feel like it's fun to play heal. Okay, I think it's fun to go from DPS to playing healer and vice versa, because you can kind of understand the game in a different way. Like you kind of,
Mhm.
for instance, when I play Boomy, I feel like I do a very good job playing around my healer. Like I will dispel them out of hex really quickly. I'll shift into bear form very quickly, because I know as a healer that's what I would want my DPS to do. And it's kind of the same thing when you go from DPS to healer. It's
Mhm.
like, well, you can start playing the healer role knowing what your DPS want. Like, one thing I would encourage every healer to do is dispel their partners out of CC very quickly,
Mhm.
because there's nothing more frustrating as a DPS than, sitting in CC. And as a
Yeah,
healer, you can help your DPS out. So I think it's fun to play these other roles, because you can actually play them, I think, a bit more effectively.
yeah, no, totally. Uh, I personally, all I want to do is just try to keep all my teammates' health above zero. That's my only goal.
Hey, that's not a bad goal. That's a good goal.
uh, the other day, I was in actually it was Arathi Basin, and I forgot that we hadn't gotten LM. That the enemy team had gotten LM. I was playing Alliance, and so I was kiting away from farm, and I had like I think like 3 or 4 horde on me, and instinctively I started or like sidetracking back up the hill to go up to LM, and I got up to the top, and I realized that I was like, wait a minute, there's a there's like six guys on me. I couldn't survive that. It was So
do you play the Divine Ascension PvP talent?
I don't know.
That's one you should. That's a really fun ability to
Pardon me.
use. You fly in the air. You just
Oh,
boof. Go.
yes. I was playing that. Yeah, where you turn into the angel or something like that.
Yeah, you just go. You
Yeah.
shoot up into the air.
Okay. No, I think I'm not sure if that's that or if I was playing the guardian, not the guardian angel, but the one where you turn into the.
Spirit of Redeemer is
Yeah,
the
that's the one I was
angel
thinking.
form one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need to also get Divine Ascension so you can fly. That's
Mm,
and you get a glider. You can fly up in the air and you can glider when you're at the top, and then you can go across the entire map, get away quickly.
that's all right. Ta-da! That'll be my next BG. I'll do that. I need to get some gliders actually. I was queuing into epics and I was hoping I was like I need to get to Arathi Basin so I can or not Arathi. I need to get to Wintergrass so I can buy Alliance gliders from the mount vendor or the vendor that's on the mount there at the starting area. But I never got Wintergrass. So I kept getting because I got Isle of Conquest and I got oh, what was the other one? Ashran. So
Ashran.
yeah, but I didn't get Winter Grasp. So oh well, maybe I'll get it next. Oh, maybe I'll keep up tonight after this, and I'll be able to get into that. That'd be nice. But I mean, I could probably just mail some gliders to myself, but that it's cross server and all that. So I mean, I guess Warbank as well, but I kind of like the idea of like the character has their own currency and they bought that whole RP thing. So anyway, I think one thing okay, I want to bring this up right now, and I think I know what your stance is here, but I'm going to bring this up. So this whole community portal thing, like they talked about it during the State of Warcraft that they were doing this community portal. They opened up for people to apply. Apparently they got like over 5,000 applicants within the first week or two, and so that's a lot. So, there's a lot of vetting that people have to do. No idea how many staff they're actually putting towards this over at Blizzard, but after 30 days they opened up the Discord, invite everybody in, made a news post about it. I joined it because I was like, yo, let's go. Champion PvP and all that stuff and try to help people out. And so they have it sectioned out. They just revamped it a little bit, but they have a section out where there's PvE section and PvP section. And there's it's now competitive and relaxed. And then there's another channel somewhere else that's never played before. So it's like for complete new people who are just like looking to start completely new. And if you go to the PvE section, there's a community Discord place. You can go and find all these Discords, all these PvE ones. And the PvP one, all they had was Icy Veins. And then talking in there, they were saying that apparently that like I don't think Icy Veins even knows that they were sectioned off as being the PvP community Discord, but they haven't apparently invited any PvP Discords. So I don't know if it's because there's no PvP Discord that actually signed up. I find that hard to believe. I'm pretty sure Skill Cap signed up. You guys there's a large Discord there, and I'm pretty sure the World of PvP Discord signed up as well. I signed up now that we have the new one, but it was closed off. I don't even know if we're going to get it or not. But I'm a little flabbergasted. Like there's people there. They're like, yeah, I want a PvP. I want to find people to PvP. Where can I go to find a guild? Where can I find a community? And they're even like the ambassadors are like, yeah, sorry about that. You're gonna have to wait. And it's a little. It pisses me off actually. Like I don't know. I'm really frustrated because I don't want to be a shill and try to sell off our Discord or anybody else's that hasn't been vetted and approved, right? Because then I'm circumventing the system. But at the same time, there's no, like, at best, people are saying, well, you can go to the class Discords and some of them have PvP sections. But I've gone to class Discords and I think out of them. I think it's warrior and I think mage. Or
Mhm.
I think priests as well. They're the only ones that actually have some active PvP players that actually do PvP stuff. The rest of
I
them, I
think
think,
that
they're pretty sure the dead channels.
the druid, I believe he's called Dream Grove or
Yeah.
something. I think they have some PvP channels. Or yeah, they do
Well,
have a
yeah, they do have a
PvP channel.
channel, but is it active?
Like it's decently active, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, it's like
I
it's
guess
not it's not very how do I say this? Technical
yeah.
discussions. It's just like a lot of banter,
Yep.
with these channels.
Yeah.
Um
I guess
yeah,
the Warlock one has one, but again, it's same thing. Like it's a bunch of banter in that. Like I think at best you can go there and see what one theory crafters recommendations are for a spec, right, for the talent choices. But even that, like sometimes it's like it's late or questionable. I don't know.
yeah.
I'm just choked. I'm like if you're gonna do this, like make sure if you're gonna invite a bunch of discords, like make sure you have one that's at least PvP. If you're gonna have a PvP section,
Like I like the idea of the ambassadors.
mm-hmm.
I think it's a good idea. Like especially,
Totally.
you know what I think also for PvP, because I did apply as skill capped for being an ambassador. Haven't gotten any response yet. Um I believe we are the biggest or one of the biggest PvP exclusive discords.
Yep.
So it's kind of weird. But I think this is also maybe an opportunity for Blizzard to promote some of the like PvP streamers and their communities. Like,
Sure.
you know, because it seems like I don't know if you've noticed, but on the Warcraft channel, they'll have like these housing streams, or they have like five people co-streaming some
Mm-hmm.
housing things at the same time. Or they did the same thing with like maybe Mythic Plus or something,
Yep.
or PVE. But I don't think there's been like a PvP co-stream yet. Like I would assume like if they asked Venruki, he'd probably be down to do it. And
Yeah.
if they asked Zaryu or Peekaboo, they would probably be down to do
Yep.
something too. And so I think like this ambassador program would have been like a really good opportunity to maybe funnel some potential viewers into those Twitch channels. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
not just singling those three people out, but like definitely there's others too. um but instead, as you mentioned, I mean, the only ambassador we have for PvP is Icy Veins, which is they do have PvP guides, but it's
Mm-hmm.
not. I don't When I think of Icy Veins, I don't immediately think of PvP. I just
Yeah.
think of just Wowhead Junior, basically.
Which
So
which is
I
actually
don't
kind
know.
of which is bad. Like I think they just had that they've had uh that assumption put on them. But right now, I think they're the only ones that actually have PvP guides anymore. World of War or WoWhead doesn't have them. They don't have separate PvP guides for any of the classes.
Hey
And
man, I have a guides website. It's
do you
free.
know? Do you know of one? Do you know? Hey, if anybody wants to know, there is this site. We're also affiliated with it, and we have a discount code. You just happen to use the link in the show notes, and you'll get yourself a discount when you pay to join it to Skullcap. Eh,
Or no, no,
regardless,
even the free article site I've been working on.
true. Yeah, yeah,
You know, okay, I don't know if I should disclose this. We have an absurd amount of users. Like I've been
yeah.
getting billed for this damn website. I've been paying the price. Like we have a lot. Like we are very like we get a lot of views
Yeah.
on this website,
No, I
and
believe it. I've used it.
I'm
It's a
trying
great
to.
site.
Yeah, and I keep the tier lists updated there. I try to
Hmm.
make sure that all the builds and gear are correct. So I don't know. It's weird to me that Icy Veins. Like I like Icy Veins, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh, come on, invite some other people too.
Right. And that's the funny thing. I've sat in the channels. I haven't seen anybody from Icy Veins as an ambassador talking in the PvP channels. It's been Skyhold and there's a couple other PvPers that are from the class discords that are talking in there, but I haven't seen anybody from Icy Veins talking in there. So it's, I don't know. I'm miffed. So because on one hand, and we just talked about it, on one hand you have this push over on the social media side. They're advertising about PvP, trying to get people into it, which is really cool. Seeing lots of some it's not just PvE centered. There's also PvP being pushed out there. And then on the other side, they do this wonderful community that clearly people want to be part of. Like, the thing is just exploding on how many people are signing up to this thing. And yet every time anybody shows up to the PvP channels, they're like, yeah, sorry, no community yet. And they're not even talking about Icy Veins. They just say, yeah, no community yet. So it's like, even they're not even acknowledging that Icy Veins was there as the PvP ambassador. So I don't know. It's just unfortunate. I think it comes down to the fact that they were overwhelmed. They didn't know, or they didn't expect it was going to be that popular. I don't know why they wouldn't think that. And I suspect that they only had like one, maybe two staffer who is on top of, pushing a game and developing for launch, that on top of it, they're also doing this community thing, which I just really hope it ends up being a much longer term thing than like the community, the forum community that they did, or anything else they've done where they've tried to do like some sort of community outreach, and it just ends up falling flat as soon as either the person doing it leaves, or they are promoted, or their responsibilities become such that they can't maintain this other thing that they're doing on the side, and I can see that happening. I really hope it doesn't, though. Don't get me wrong. I worry. History has proven that none of this stuff lasts. It always kind of it deflates over time. So
yeah, this wasn't meant to be like part of the show notes or anything, but I mean, you saw the music video that they released.
Yeah.
It was cool, but
yeah,
it was definitely very cool. But it was like more housing, more. Geez. I wonder if there's this new feature in WoW called housing. Like, Blizzard just is selling this like crazy.
They are.
And it's like, I'm sure
there's I like that though. Like, it was the journey of the Night Elf, and then moving through vanilla, moving through Burning Crusade, and all that.
Yeah.
I noticed that they stopped at BFA though. Apparently they didn't play Shadowlands, Dragonflight, or The War Within. Maybe they're just a returning player. I don't know.
They took a break. But in any case, like,
sorry.
Like, in any case, it's like, okay, they're clearly putting all their eggs into this one new basket. It's like, come on, man, like, give us PvP or something for once. Like, we can't even get a Discord like invite. Like, jeez.
Yeah. Okay, so who would you suggest? What PvP communities would you suggest be part of this portal?
I mean, I'm of course I'm a little bit biased here, but
sure.
Definitely skill cap.
I thought you were going to say technically PvP.
Technically PvP I would include as well. I don't know if I would include World of PvP, just because that Discord is kind of sus. Yeah.
Actually, so I have background. Me and Thadril, who runs that, we chat back and forth all the time in DMs, and he actually just implemented a BNet authentication. So he's getting rid of. So if anybody's on that server now that is a bot or doesn't have a BNet account, they're done. So he probably kicked out about a quarter of his Discord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good for them. Other Discords I would include. I would probably, again, like Venruki, any of any of the major PvP streamers and their discords,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Big Macs, uh,
Markers.
markers. Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential. Like those, I would consider Vendruki and like those guys like PvP ambassadors. Like they kind of represent the community and they
Mm-hmm.
stream and they're generally pretty positive. And so yeah, I think those are like good candidates for ambassadors.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, those are my picks.
Okay. Yeah. Same. Like World of PvP was one that I would suggest only because I know they're looking for group channels are quite active, and they yes, there is a bunch of people there, but really the activity is fairly centered. That said, I find with World of PvP a lot of the activity is European. So
Mm.
whereas a bunch of the other discords are all very NA based. So I find that's the neat little thing that World PvP has. It has that more European flavor to it. Um, I'm trying to think who else. There's I like Mystical as a streamer. I'm not sure how active his community is though. Um, oh, controversial, but Flarkness's Discord,
Oh
Intensify.
yeah.
I think that one would be worthy as well.
What about Dalaran Gaming? Does he? I think he still does little tournaments.
I've lost track of Delaran. I see him on Twitter, posting. He does PVE stuff and PvP stuff, and posting about his achievements. I haven't seen him do tournaments for the longest time, and I don't know. I don't even know if he has a community or not. I'm sure he does, but I don't know. I think one other one. Actually, I want to say this, but I know it's not true. Is oh, where is it? Uh, nope, I'm brain farting it now. There was a community, and I can't remember what it is now. Oh, there, Cryptids League. That used to be super active, but it's not anymore. So I think if they actually built that back up, then that would be a good one because it just has a strong base to it. But yeah, uh, again though, these people need to actually like sign up and apply. I don't know if
Yeah.
I don't know who has or if they even have. So I don't know. There's so many good ones. I'm a little
Well,
just disappointed.
I also feel like it's kind of the responsibility of someone at Blizzard to maybe invite these people, like to seek out these potential ambassadors.
Yep.
Like if you, I mean, call me crazy, but I think if you are like some sort of community manager at Blizzard, I think you should probably know the ins and outs of every little community, maybe, right? Like, or at least, you know how to seek
Maybe.
those people out. I don't,
Yeah.
I don't.
Maybe. That would be yeah. Anyway. I I'm not going to assume that the people of Blizzard really know, like aside from like some of the big PvE streamers and like the big like Method and Echo and that, I doubt that they actually know half of the big PvE community PvP communities out there. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong. I also feel like they because they use like their own personal accounts in that, I feel like they don't have a dummy account to like go around and find things. And so then they're afraid to pop in because then they become that creates that backdoor access of somebody able to communicate directly to them. Good and bad communication.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of the the devs and the designers are very hesitant to become that uh, approachable, if you know what I mean.
Hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, okay. Last question, last topic, just because it's on the table. We've seen a lot of tuning. There's been quite a bit PVE and PvP. but now we're in Mythic Week, right? Do you think we're going to see any more PvE tuning this week? And or are we going to see? Are we just going to see PvP tuning? Do you think they're going to do something, or are we starting to hit where everything slows down now and we're back to the meta will be the meta, and we'll figure it out from here?
I don't remember what they said in their original post about the tuning cadence for this time around. I know they explicitly did mention the race to world first,
Mm-hmm.
and that would maybe affect tuning schedules.
Yep.
But obviously, you can do PvP changes independent of that. So I would probably anticipate some tuning this week. Um, I think there's definitely like next week will be more complicated to tune, right? Because that's when
Mm-hmm.
usually the race world first boss or race world first guilds are on like the last boss is usually next
Yeah.
week. So I would not expect anything major next week, but this week I could see maybe some PvP specific tuning. Um,
I mean, that's my hope.
yeah, uh, I think I mean, there have been some specs that have been very good, like
Yep.
disproportionately good this time
Yep.
around, and some specs which have been disproportionately lackluster.
Mhm.
So there's definitely room for tuning. Um,
I don't disagree. I'm worried that they might see, let's say, like a side of the PVE where they want to make a tuning adjustment, but they don't want to because it's mythic, in the middle of the race to world first. So they're like, oh, well, we'll do that after, and then they won't make the PvP adjustment right now because they don't want to have to adjust it twice. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
instead of like, well, I don't know, let's say I'm just gonna throw out mage, right? Mage needs a 3% decrease, 3% nerf across the board, let's say in PvE, but they don't want to do that quite yet because race to world first. So instead of doing that and then what other tweak they need to do in PvP, they just won't at all. Whereas like they could do a, I don't know, like a 4% nerf in some specific spots in PvP, and then when they do the 3% nerf flat, then they can undo some of that PvP changes or adjust again.
yeah.
But they don't like. It feels like they don't want to. Or I'm concerned that they won't do that because somebody doesn't want to do it's extra work or whatever. Which
Doesn't want to bust out the spreadsheet twice. They just want to have
yeah,
one. Well, they want to open up Excel one time, not
yeah,
twice.
totally. And God, I get it, but at the same time, like this is the game. Like you're some people that obviously the people playing the broken specs are having fun. They're enjoying it because it's a broken spec. Yeah, I don't blame them. But the other side is the people who aren't playing those aren't willing to do flavor of the month and are, either their spec really needs some help, and so then it's just oppressive for them trying to do anything, or their spec is okay, but again, you face into all these bottom rerollers, and it's just oppressive to that either way, right? So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't know.
Right.
I really do hope that they can keep doing some tuning. Um, Please, Blizzard, I know you're listening. They're not listening, but if they were listening, I really hope that they are going to do some more tuning because I mean it's Wednesday, right? We just had reset. What do you think? Maybe Friday?
It's
Friday the
almost
latest.
always on Friday at like 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's
Yeah.
usually when it is. These last two tuning passes, though, they've done like last minute changes to like
Mhm.
they added in some warrior buffs this last time, and they did that I believe on Monday,
Yeah. What I thought it
right
was
before
Sunday
the
night.
servers. Yeah, yeah, Sunday night. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh. All right. We haven't done it for a while. One thing you would change.
Ooh,
What's one thing you would change right now for the start of the season?
ooh, that's a good question. I was not ready for this, even though
Mhm.
I have a lot of thoughts. One thing. I was a bit disappointed in the fact that war mode gear was not slightly higher item level than honor gear.
Yep.
Um, I have there's absolutely zero reason for me personally to do the Sparks quests. And I actually kind of like doing the Sparks quests, and it felt nice having that little extra incentive to do them. So yeah, I don't know why they did that this time around, but yeah, in increasing the item level of war mode gear.
Okay. I would add 2 NPCs to the PvP area in Silvermoon. One would be a vendor that sells those funky PvP items like the stuns and the knockbacks and
Yes.
the that stuff. Yeah, because it's not there. And
Oh, huh.
I would add a merc mode NPC so that people can elect to go mercenary from Silvermoon and not have to travel back to Dornegal or back to Dalaran Legion to become a mercenary. That's the
I think
thing.
those are some fair changes.
Yeah. I mean, so many other things I would change. Did you notice that we can't upgrade our PvP gear this time?
No, I did not notice that. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. It's not veteran. It's not champion gear at all. It's fixed PvE item level. So crests are completely useless to PvPers this go.
Yeah, and honor level or our honor gear is really low item level, like 217 or something.
Yeah, it is.
Like I was doing LFR the other day for a chance to get the tier gear,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, wow, like my item level sucks. Like I've
Yep.
been terrible.
Yep. Oh, chat just corrected me. Apparently, conquest gear you can upgrade, but not honor gear.
Okay.
But that seems like, why wouldn't you upgrade honor gear? Right?
Yeah. Weird.
Uh huh. Anyway, that's it. That's my changes. I think, but yeah, let's get some NPCs. I do miss those fun little items. They really made random battlegrounds and epic battlegrounds super fun because you could like really knock people off of the Arathi Basin even though you don't have a knockback, and they're all like, "What the heck? You're cheating!" It's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm just.
It was like a good get off of me button.
Yep. Well, anyway, actually, big. Should we end the podcast? Should we get out of here and let everybody get back to gaming?
I think we should.
All right. Well, then, why don't you start listing off where everybody can find us?
Sure. If you want to find us, you can do it at X at technically_PvP or on Blue Sky at technicallypvp.bluesky.social, or even by an email of all things to technicallypvp@gmail.com. You can also join our discussions on the Bonus Roll Productions Discord, or rather our Discord.
I forgot to update that. Oops. Yes. Yeah, come on over to our Discord. We're not over at the Bonus Roll Discord anymore, but we are still friends with Bonus Roll, and they do still have a website with a podcast directory with us and many other great shows. So by all means, still go check that out if you want to find another Discord or another podcast you want to listen to. None of them are PvP. They might have some PvP discussions, but obviously we're the only ones. And in the meantime, we're going to find, if you go to the show notes, you will find links to all of our socials, along with a link to the new Discord where we're at. And you will probably also find a link to our Patreon page. So if you want to, nothing wrong if you don't want to. That is totally okay. But if you want to, you can head on over to Patreon and give us some of your hard-earned cash if you think that we deserve it. In that, I am going to say good night and adieu, and I will see you on the battlefield. Good night, everybody.